back for the latest episode of the Goosed Podcast, and today we're talking about a very, very interesting topic. So, just off the back of Pride Month and Men's Mental Health Month, so I have Patricia Lopez with me, the CEO and founder of Myhixel, a men's sexual health and wellness company. So, yeah, I suppose this is going to be very, very interesting for an Irish audience, because when it comes to talking about the big sex word, people get very uncomfortable, and it's going to be very, very funny. So, Patricia, do you want to tell me about, I suppose, who you are, what Myhixel is, and I guess the obvious question to start is how you got started?
Yes, sure. Well, I'm Patricia, and I'm the founder and CEO of Myhixel, male sexual health brand. We also focus on male well-being. The project started 6.5 years ago. I'm from Seville, Spain. So I was working here as a head of marketing for Europe, for an American company of male sex toys. So by working there, my clients were distributors, retailers, wholesalers. So I typically attended trade shows, events, and I started seeing like a new trend more related to female products, actually, because it is um, the adult toy industry is a space where there are more products for women than for men. But I started seeing that trend where the female products started to approach more to health and wellness, and not just purely like sex or porn,
Yeah.
um, or kind of explicit content. So I thought, oh, that's clever, because working for sales and marketing, for me, it was a way to have access to more mainstream channels, but also because of this product could be useful for
Yeah.
some specific health purposes or therapeutic purposes. I started having some conversations with sex therapists, urologists, and just for understanding, okay, women now maybe can have access to these kind of products for their well-being. What about men? Nobody's taking care of men with that kind of approach.
Yeah.
So I'm basically I validated the approach with a sexual health specialist, and I decided to quit and start my own journey.
It's actually fascinating kind of you say that, because I think the kind of sex tech industry is obviously very female led and female driven, which is
Mhm.
fantastic. And I suppose there's this old attitude of a man will get off to anything, and that's not necessarily the case or true. And like obviously, I caught up with you 4 years ago now, back in 2020, about your initial product, the Myhixel Control, and it's a very interesting product because it obviously fixates on a very specific need. So do you want to, I suppose, explain that, even how that product came to pass? And as you said, it's been a long journey over the last 4 years, and I know you have another product that we'll talk about in a bit, because that's about to go.
Yes, I actually it's so long that I had the first idea. It's almost 7 years. So basically, I came out with the idea when I partnered up with a sexological institute
Mm,
here in Spain. They had a line of research related to premature ejaculation,
mm,
where they were using CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, accompanied with a male masturbator, like fake vagina.
mhm.
At that time, they were using sex toys because they didn't have like a proper tool for
Yeah,
that. But they realized that their patients were gaining more control if they put into practice the techniques and exercises included in the therapy with these products, because it provided more realistic sensation. So
yeah.
it was a better way for the patients to improve and get the knowledge of the technique, but they were they were claiming to get access to more technological products
Mm.
that could better fit with their therapy. So basically, when I met these doctors, I is when I decided to quit because I found it super interesting. Also because I did some market research related to premature ejaculation. Is a condition that affects 31% of men worldwide at some point of their
Oh,
lives. It doesn't mean that it's forever, or but it's super related to psychological issues.
mm.
So stress, anxiety, etc., have a direct impact on the
All
climate
right.
control.
I
Mhm.
would have. I think people would probably assume that those kind of psychological things would actually bring something the other direction, where it's like you'd either lose libido or you can't do the job. Uh,
Both.
yeah, I think that's the part that's understood. I think there's that kind of it's like a stigma almost. It's like
Mhm. It is.
it's a running joke almost. The
Mhm.
7 second hero, and people like will use things like numbing creams or kind of there's
Yeah.
pills and
The,
medication, but you
the,
have like a gamified approach.
the solutions out there were numbing creams, sprays, condoms, or the only pill approved worldwide is an antidepressant pill.
All
Uh,
right.
yes, because it works as an inhibitor of this serotonin, so it's like a kind of antidepressant. So our approach was, of course, without any kind of side effects, and we decided, okay, because of the stigma that there is around it, around 80% of men struggling with this condition or with that concern are
Mm.
not attending or seeking help with a professional. Okay, they are going to the internet to look for solutions, and it's hard to find like a proper solution on the internet.
Yeah.
So that's why at that time I thought, okay, we have an 8 week program that has been demonstrated that works, but we have 80% of our potential customers out there not coming to the practice, right? Let's digitalize the therapy that I'm talking about 2018, that maybe now after COVID-19, everybody it's more used to have access to digital therapy, digital health. But at that time, it was something pretty new. So we decided to translate the 8 week therapy for premature ejaculation into a digital solution. So a mobile app
Yeah.
with gamification and of course encryption and anonymization of data
Yeah.
because it's super sensitive, and also in parallel to build a training tool that it's a masturbation device,
Mm.
um, following the instructions and including the features that were asked from the medical team.
Oh, see, I think the thing that fascinates me about this is like the gamification of it. I think when people will hear about Joe like a male masturbator, they're thinking a very, you know, very rudimentary type product. They're not thinking of something that there's actually like inbuilt technology, or like in this case, there's like AI involved. And I think people will hear that and go, "Huh, what?" Like,
Yes, but for anyone, maybe it's easy to imagine a kind of workout app where you can follow different steps progressively, where you can find video tutorials explaining how to do squat, for example. Okay, so it's
yeah,
actually kind of similar concept, but we are explaining how to control the mechanisms that are involved in the stage of emission of ejaculation. So
this makes sense. It's one of those ones that's like it is a workout app. You're just not working out your glutes directly. Do you know? So but I've seen the interface and stuff like that, and it's a very simple interface to kind of, and as you said, it's 8 weeks, there's steps to it, and you essentially like move through the process. So if anybody actually wants to read about it, I have an article up on the product from 2020. Yeah, like it's very like Jesus. I don't actually have it anymore because there's a very weird story about my housemate who ended up intercepting it at one stage, and I ended up in her dishwasher. And these are not things that we should. Uh, there's a few people who've heard this story, and it's I'm not going to say his name, Eddie, but no, like I suppose it would be really interesting to find out from yourself, like from where you started to kind of where the product is now, if you want to kind of talk about that journey and the different kind of, I suppose, variations, the different kind of steps that you had to go through to get it to where you are today.
Mm-hmm. So, well, something that I had also very clear since the very beginning is that I didn't want just to design and produce this tech product with digital therapy, but also to demonstrate its efficacy, because for me it was key to
Mm,
demonstrate that it is a therapeutic tool. So since the very beginning, as a company, we started investing in running clinical trials, in getting the license as a medical manufacturer. We managed to get the device listed with the FDA as a medical device. In Europe, we got the CE mark as a medical device. Also for the software, okay, because we do have also software medical device in Europe. So we have been investing in that because and has been challenging because it's, as a concept, it's
mm,
something new.
yeah,
Um, there were no categories in on retailers or for us, because most of them included us as a sex toy or
yeah,
masturbation device, and we were not. So it has been super hard to to establish
mm,
our sales channels and marketing strategy. We needed to also include a lot of information, explanation about the product. So, but we were convinced about the efficacy of it. We
yeah,
demonstrated it with 3 clinical trials, and we started getting good feedback from our initial customers. But this first version, even if was innovative in terms of concept and everything, of course, there has a lot of space for improvement.
yeah,
For example, the first version was not connected. It didn't include Bluetooth connection or any kind of connectivity or sensors. We included a warming up feature, so the device warms up to body temperature because we want to emulate the sensation of real
yeah,
penetration, and vibration because we do also it's a very very gentle vibration, because the through vibration we can help out to desensitize a little bit the glands,
yeah,
so it can also help with lasting a little bit longer.
yeah,
But besides this, we didn't work on connectivity, and it is something that we have in our minds since the very beginning, but we needed, to create an MVP, launch,
yeah,
test,
yeah,
validate, scale, and then work on improving this. So by 2021, we started to develop the second generation of our Myhixel solution for premature ejaculation, where the connectivity
mm,
was the main feature there. So we work on including Bluetooth and accelerometer, gyroscope, so we have access to some specific data. That is super interesting because when it comes to premature ejaculation, even doctors and anybody has never um, have access to data, to
yeah,
accurate data. The only way a doctor is treating a patient with this condition is having a conversation like that and asking,
And we're gonna lie.
yeah,
We're gonna lie. Like, let's be honest about it. It's like, how long are you lasting? Oh, forever. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
or I mean, it's kind of complicated. So we tried to have access to much
Yeah.
more accurate data, like in real time, and this data, even if it's encrypted and anonymized,
Mm.
it's super helpful for us to keep improving the tool, for doctors who collaborate with us to better understand the behavior of users using our tool, and we wanted to bet on this kind of features. We started like crafting the first the second generation in 2021, but it took us 2 years and a half or so, because after COVID, the well the we had the a kind of crisis of materials for a while, and it took a while to develop, and but we were able to actually, we decided to launch a pre-sale campaign in December 2022
Okay.
on Kickstarter, and we raised around almost $600,000 in only 40 days of campaign.
See, that alone shows that even though there's a lot of people who will kind of I find with a lot of these kind of things, it's the stigma side of things that people won't say it, but when the product is there in front of you in Kickstarter, as you said, you're raising that kind of money in 40 days. That goes to show that there is a need, there is a want, there is a market, and even though guys aren't necessarily going to talk about it,
Yeah, that's the only thing I know for sure, that every single time that we have the opportunity of broadcast the products in front of a huge audience, we sell.
yeah,
And the thing is that for us super frustrating, because as I said, we struggle a lot with our marketing and sales
yeah,
strategy, because we are continuously burned on social media. We cannot perform paid media like a normal product. And it's super frustrating, because again, in Kickstarter, that they have on Kickstarter, they have like a 12 million audience, or something like that.
that's crazy.
Organic post we got on The Verge or on Reddit last January. The boost in sales was crazy, but it's super hard to keep that on a daily or monthly basis with like a established strategy, because
I actually get that.
we face a lot of restrictions.
I actually understand that. So I, like, as I've mentioned 101 times on different episodes of the podcast, my day job is actually in marketing. And there was a few years ago, we were doing a Valentine's promotion for a hotel. We got banned from advertising for them because there was feet poking out of sheets. And it was like, well, that's insinuating. And you're like, seriously? It's a pair of fucking feet in a bed, lads. Get over yourselves. So, like, I can imagine trying to market on the traditional channels, you're constantly getting shadow banned, or it's a case of, well, this is talking about, it's a medical product that just happens to be about a sexual, you know,
Mhm.
problem. It's just because it's a sexual issue doesn't make it any less of a medical device. Like, even to this day, right? This is probably a good one for it. Like, we obviously had an affiliate link on that article, which must update. But to this day, I think it was actually the fastest earning affiliate link that we've ever had on the site. So again, I remember when we posted that, I was like, people read it just because they're like, they want to find out what the crack is. And I think there was like 30 purchased in the space of fucking 50 odd days. I was like, Jesus, okay, this is actually a thing. So, like, I've been following your journey pretty much since. I want to ask you though, I suppose, is that like a barrier that you find a lot, is that because it's a sexual product that there's a lot of resistance in just general the market, or is it more of a case of when you actually get the opportunity to talk to people that they understand it more?
uh, Definitely, every time that we got like an organic exposure with including kind of explanatory video, or a post with content and information explaining the product, it worked pretty good. because as I said, it's a new concept
Mm,
that should be explained, and but also definitely because of the sexual
yeah.
condition of it. It's and even I think it was 1.5 years ago. Meta changed their advertising policy, and for the first time, they included sexual health brands well allowed to
Yeah.
run ads on their platforms. That's what the policy says,
Mm.
but the algorithm is not trained.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
It's
No,
not.
it's very much. I totally get that. I mean, do you know what I find fascinating about this? Obviously, is from when we initially kind of looked at this, and now we're in the 2020s, where the buzzword of the 2020 seems to be AI, and more goddamn AI. So, how the hell are you implementing AI into something like this? Because I assume it's very different to the standard that we hear with like kind of the language models and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Not ChatGPT, put it like that.
No, well, to be honest, it's kind of basic AI. That it's because we are getting data and accurate data, and we see how is the progress of our users through the different stages. Then
Sure.
we can follow and guide our users and adapt the programs according to their performance and when it's about to come for them, because also frustration is key in the success and during the whole journey. So we try to avoid the frustration of our customers by adapting the program using AI.
I never thought I'd use the word dick data, but here we are. Just off the top of your head, what is the kind of like progression for someone that uses this kind of device? Because obviously, if someone, to be honest with you, the pricing is really good. It's like 200 in around the €200 mark,
Yeah.
which for anybody out there who actually doesn't know the price of masturbators, they're in and around that price
Mm.
anyway. And you're getting the medical element of this as well. So, kind of what kind of data are we looking at in terms of, I suppose, somebody's progression from their start of their 8-week program to the finish?
Uh-huh. So, well, we do have the clinical trials that demonstrate the efficacy. But I also like to be honest and sharing the data of the whole database that is a much bigger sample.
Yeah.
We have sold around 40,000 units already, and on average, it has a technical name, okay, but it's the how many times our users multiply the time of duration
Yeah.
is around 4 times, okay, within our database, which is good. It is true that the starting point is low.
That's why
Okay,
we're
it,
here.
it's I'm talking about average
Yeah.
time, but for example, in one of our clinical trials, patients managed to multiply up to 7 times the duration. So
Jesus.
they started with 2 minutes,
Okay.
okay, in average, and they after the 8 weeks they finished with more than 14. It was a little bit
Nice.
7 times, but those patients were monitored by doctors, by the clinics, so it's like a more uh, personalized follow up.
More hands-on approach, let's say.
Yeah.
uh, no, Joe, that's mad because I think, Jesus, I might be wrong in this, but they were saying that the average duration of penetrative sex, like internationally, is like about 10 minutes, which,
Less is between 5 and 8.
yeah,
So porn is
highly unrealistic. It's almost like they staged the scenes.
Mhm.
But I think again, like I suppose you're in this era now of you know, I suppose how like ethical porn. So program platforms like Make Love Not Porn, kind of the OnlyFans generate. I'm saying the OnlyFans generation. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. But you know what I mean, where it's more real. It's not as
Okay.
staged, highly produced. You're there for an hour, 3 hours, and the expectations are
Absurd.
very
It's
different.
absurd. I mean, nobody wants that. I mean, it's absurd and it's not realistic at all. As I said, the average time worldwide is between 5 and 8. and I do attend medical congresses. I do attend congresses in the field of urology, sexual medicine, sexology, and for example, there is a trend among the sex therapists that they want to avoid talking about timing when
Yeah,
it comes to premature ejaculations because they say it really depends. Sometimes 1 minute intercourse is just perfect, and sometimes it's 15. Sometimes it really depends. So they are trying to change because even the definition of premature ejaculation it's so old. It's for example, it's not inclusive. It doesn't include the homosexual community, for example. That's
okay.
why it's only related to vaginal intercourse.
Yeah,
Um, so there is some trends that mm, are
yeah,
trying to change the definition, and from Myhixel, what we want, or at least we try to share, is that to normalize the conversation,
yeah,
just to avoid that this kind of taboo stigma. I know that it's a topic super related to male ego. I get it. uh,
yeah. It's
we
a thing.
yeah.
It's a thing.
But well, at least I'm seeing some progress with younger generations. They are more open minded. They are
Yeah.
accepting that, and they are trying different things out. And so, little by little, I guess we are improving.
I think it's a guy. I think it's that kind of stuff is a general guy problem because I know in the city I'm from we have a real issue with like suicide rates with young men. Similar stuff like guys just don't talk about like important topics. It's like we go to the pub, we talk about soccer, cars, and money, and that's about it. And it's like if you turn around to one of the boys and go, "So, how's it working?" They're gonna go, "What?" or "Go away." Joe, it's very black and white, but like you can like I've definitely seen it where the generation, I suppose, below me are a lot more open to conversations,
Mhm.
which is brilliant to see because, as you said, a big part of this is the mental space. That if you're clearer in your mind, you're going to be better across the board. So, like, we're
I
on the right track.
I encourage our team saying, guys, men are now openly talking about hair transplant. We are next. Yes.
Do you know what? That is so true because like we have a wedding coming up and there's two or three of the lads now, not an issue for myself obviously, but we have a few of the lads who are starting to go a little bald, and it was like right, they're going to hold off until after the wedding to go get the transplant. So there's two or three of them who are discussing a guy's holiday to Turkey. Like it's like fair enough. That was a
You
conversation that
know,
happened.
I visited Turkey and Istanbul for sexual health congress, but it was shocked about how the airport, the flight, it was full of men. Well,
Going
uh,
getting their hair fixed.
yes,
So as you said, we're next. We're on the right
yes,
path.
we're next, we're next.
It's just one more barrier to knock down. It's because do you know what it is? I think it actually it falls under the same space. It's about like your confidence. It's about your kind of value of yourself or your willingness to kind of talk about those elements of yourself, where instead of
Mhm,
hiding behind, I suppose, an Andrew Tate style personality of I'm the big man. Because it's
mhm,
not true. You're not. Like none of us are. None of us are. And you might have your days, but
mhm.
they're not every day.
But I guess it's communication. It's well, first of all, it's accepting that you are not Superman, and so you don't have to be
How
Superman.
dare you? I am Superman.
And then, well, just share it with transparency and talk with your partner if you have trying to find a solution together, because there are
Yeah,
solutions.
I-
And
it's definitely a thing.
mhm,
It's definitely a thing. So, like, I want to talk about your new product,
mhm,
the Myhixel ring, correct?
it is
So,
the ring.
what is that?
Well, it's after we developed the two versions of the product for premature ejaculation, we decided to address another sexual dysfunction and a sexual condition, which is ED, erectile dysfunction. Okay, it is the other extended
The
sexual.
elephant in the room, literally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, around 25% of men between 30 and 50, and around 50% of men above 50 years old. Um,
Really?
yes, but it is a condition where when there are uh, psychological and physical causes. While for premature ejaculation, 90% is because of psychological aspects. In the case of erectile dysfunction, it really depends. If you're older, probably there are more physical causes, and if you're younger, it's more psychological.
Sure.
Besides these, of course, there is a pharmacological solutions, like a Viagra,
The big
Cialis.
blue pill.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never heard of it.
So that's why one of the reasons why I decided to start out with premature ejaculation. But after 4 years, we thought, okay, we we have developed these tech solutions for premature ejaculation. Let's think about another technical solution for the erectile dysfunction as an alternative to drugs and other things
Drugs are
out
bad.
there. Mhm.
Drugs are
So,
bad. It's not the solution.
thinking about creating a product, we we thought about creating a penile ring. Okay, there are a lot of penile rings out there. From some of them are medical, some of them are just lifestyle
Purely for
Durex,
drugs.
for example, or um, but 99% of them were rounded. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually the first thing I noticed when I looked at this. I was like, it's a very interesting shape considering what you expect is essentially look something that looks like a rubber band.
Mhm.
And it don't look like that.
No, we thought, why rounded? Let's ask to our doctors, because we do have sex therapists, urologists working in our team, and also we are collaborating with other clinics. So we started having conversations with doctors, and well, trying to understand the mechanisms of a penile ring for avoiding erectile dysfunction. So, and the main reason why a penile ring is used is not for helping men to achieve a erection, but to keep it, to maintain
Yeah.
the erection, right? So once you are able to get like a full or partial erection, you put the ring, and the ring pressures the upper veins in the penis. Okay, so it avoids um, the blood flow back. Okay, so basically
Okay.
it contains the penis full of blood, so
Understood.
it gets hard and for longer, and that's how it works. Okay, it's very kind of basic mechanisms,
Yeah.
but at the same time, where you are uh, putting pressure in the upper side of the penis because it's rounded, you are also pressuring the lower part, that is where you have the urethra. Okay,
Yes.
that's why men are feeling kind of pressure while using the normal rings.
Sure.
And besides this, it difficults the ejaculation because you are also pressuring the urethra and blocking actually the expulsion of semen through the urethra while you are using the ring. And
I
I
assume that was the point. I always assumed that was the point, but obviously it's not.
No, because
Okay.
most of men want to, well, it's have an easy ejaculation and a pleasurable ejaculation, because sometimes they feel even pain while ejaculating with the ring. First question was, okay, it is necessary to pressure the urethra for keeping the penis full of blood? No. Okay, then let's create a design, an ergonomic design that could provides the pressure in the upper side and the release of the urethra in the lower side. And it has the initial idea came out. Of course, we did like a work related to industrial property IP,
Sure.
to see that our new design was not infringing any patent. And after that, we decided also to create a design that could be patented, because
Yeah.
our previous product, the one for premature ejaculation, is patented, and we wanted also the ring to be patented too. So we did all this technical job, and then we came out with a design which is super ergonomic, and its main innovation is that we are not pressuring up the urethra, so you can keep your erection, you can keep your penis full of blood, and you can enhance the quality of your erection, while you can ejaculate
Hey.
easily with pleasure, and you barely notice that you are wearing anything.
See, that's fascinating because yeah, that was like the first thing I noticed was the shape. Like I was just it's so different to kind of anything that you'd see in the market, and it does again. It's similar to like your other products. Like it doesn't necessarily. If you were to look at it on a table, you're not going to go, "That's a size tie." It's
No, we always try to design very discreet, with that kind of technological, but also sex and health, health aspects. So, for example, for the masturbation device, we have been told that it was a speaker and humidified thing, or
or a lamp, a lamp.
yes,
Yeah,
and the ring is kind of simple,
kind of
simple.
looks like a hairband, to be honest. Which if you end up wearing it like that, up do your thing. But whatever. What I definitely noticed was in the design, it has how to describe this. It's like three stages. As I said, it's one size fits all. It's three stages, and
Uh-huh.
you currently have the project on Kickstarter. So can you kind of explain both the three stages of it, and obviously where we're at with Kickstarter? Because if anybody
Yeah.
wants to go on to Kickstarter and get
Again,
go have a
yes.
look, it's there.
Well, actually, we have three different types of elastic bands. The design is one size fits all, because thanks to the elastic band,
Yeah.
uh, it fits with 95% of penises, okay, penis sizes. But we decided to use the three different type of elasticity in the elastic bands, because depending of the percentage of rigidity, we recommended to use one of the three of them. One is more elastic, the medium one, and the harder one. Because erectile dysfunction is not a science,
Sure.
meaning that maybe one day you are at your 50%, another day 75, another day
Yeah,
90,
that's definitely a thing.
because you are not robots, okay? That's why we thought, okay, let's design three different types of elasticity, so they can have different choices depending how they feel.
Okay, that's really interesting. Where are you at with the Kickstarter? Because obviously the plan is to get that out this year, I assume, is it? Or next year?
Yeah. Yes, the official launch date is October this
Cool.
year, and we have run a campaign on Kickstarter for a couple of months. We started in April until June, but we are taking advantage of a new feature on Kickstarter that it's called late pledge. So basically, we are keeping the campaign for few more weeks. And in the first 2 months that was the official campaign, in number of rings, because we got the reward that was the top one was the 3 rings reward, the 3 pack. So we sold around 4,600 rings
Jesus,
in 2 months.
that's impressive.
Thank you.
And what kind of pricing are we looking at in terms of when these go to market?
Well, on Kickstarter, you can take advantage of 25 to 28% of discount depending on of the package, but the retail price it's gonna be $69.
Nice.
And the lifespan is 4 months or so, depending how many times you use it, but that's the average
Okay.
lifespan. And it's medical grade silicone. And we have designed a like um, like a similar concept for ED with the masturbation device as well.
Okay.
Yes, well, the ring is like the star of the new ED segment for us. But as I said, the ED has two main causes: physical and psychological. And for psychological, there are also cognitive behavioral therapies that are pretty useful. We did a clinical trial with a new methodology for psychological erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
It
This is
is
fascinating.
it is
I'm learning so much today.
it's also a progressive program of 5 weeks is if you're single, or 8 weeks if you are with a partner, and the partner wants to be involved.
Okay.
And it's helping you out with well, to reduce the anxiety of getting an erection. So at the end of the program, you get much more consciousness about how not to get stressed or nervous for you being able to get a better erection. And we also recommend the use of the masturbation device because we know that there are a lot of men struggling with the moment of getting an erection, but also a lot of men struggling with keeping the erection while performing penetration. So we do have the program within the app for helping out with the moment of getting the erection, the masturbation device for helping with training your capacity of keeping your erection while penetrating, and the ring, just to put in the ring in the base of your
Yeah.
penis and keep your erection
I need
longer.
to get an article up. I'll get an article up on the ring in the next few weeks because, as I said, I have the original products. We've covered that many years ago. So, as I said, that is very much on the website. Go have a check out of it. It's very interesting because it's that gamification, the science, it's the medical, and it really gets away from the this is a sex toy kind of conversation because
Thank you.
it's like it is and it's not. It's
I mean,
medical sex.
I have nothing against sex toys. I worked for that industry for over 4 years,
Yeah.
and I was so happy, and I have plenty of sex toys for myself. But when I just wanted to go one step beyond.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's what it is. It's like some like you can have your. I think there's two strands to this. There's pleasure pleasure performance, and then there's the medical stuff. I think for a lot of people when they hear about these things, it's about pushing boundaries or learning more about yourself, and that's not the case for everybody. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why Viagra exists. There is a problem there. There is you know, we hear the words premature ejaculation because it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So products that help people with those kind of issues should exist. I mean, it's obvious. For me, it just sounds. I know there's going to be plenty of people who will listen to this because of the nature of the topic, and with the Irish people being the Irish people, I know my mother's going to text me like within 20 minutes of this going, I was like, "You're talking about data dicks, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "Shut up, it's fine." And my mother gets a shout out in every single podcast, and I think this was the first one I was hoping to avoid, but here we are.
No. You can always say, imagine Patricia's parents. So,
There we go. We're back. We're back to normal. So in terms of like, are both products available? We said the original one, that is the Myhixel, is available on the website now.
Mhm.
The ring will be available from October. So where can people find out about, like, obviously actually your Instagram channel is very interesting because it's not just, I think for a lot of these type of products it's sell, 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 sell,
No,
whereas I think
education.
your Instagram is very much actually educational. Like there's
Mhm.
things about sexual health around ADHD, sexual kind of well-being of people with different backgrounds, different problems. A lot, as you said, a lot of it is psychological. You're going to have issues if you're overweight. You're going to have issues if you're very sedentary. These are, those can't be fixed with the product. You just have to get up and walk. Unfortunately for you, But the Instagram page is very, very educational. So even if people are like, I don't know, go have a look. There's a load of content that you've produced, and it's fascinating to read.
Thank
So
you.
on that note, do you want to tell people where they can find the product, where they can find you guys, where they can find out more about it, and ultimately where they can buy these things? Because
Yes, sure.
we're going to improve sexual wellness one dick at a time, I suppose. And again, I can't believe I'm saying this.
So yes, well, the product for premature ejaculation can be found on our website, myhixel.com. Depending on your location, also Amazon. Okay, we're working with Amazon in Europe, and also UK. It's actually one of our medical distributors is selling our product
Cool.
in on Amazon, Amazon USA, and so our website and Amazon mainly. And there are other medical sites also selling our products. And the new product, the Myhixel ED, which is the psychological program with the masturbation device and the ring. So basically, the whole range of products for ED can be found on Kickstarter. So there is an option of late pledge, even if it says like the campaign finished on June 9th, but you can still pledge and get your product there with important discount.
Now, get on it. Is there anything that we haven't covered today that you think is very important for people to know, or do you think we've covered everything that people should know?
I think we've covered uh, what
Fantastic.
is, what
Uh,
is important, and of course I'm open to have another podcast with you in case that there's a topic that has been covered and guys want to
yeah.
talk about it.
Look, this is going to be on YouTube. We're obviously on YouTube now. This is going out on Spotify, anywhere where people get their podcasts. We're also going to cover on social media. So actually, that's where I'm going to do my plug. So Goosed_ie, we're on pretty much every social platform. If you go to TikTok, it's Marty at TikTok because he runs the TikTok and he's fantastic there. I obviously run this side, and you see my head ever around Spotify. So if there are questions on the products, reach out to myself, Marty, or Patricia online, ask the
Mhm.
questions. And if there's enough questions, we will definitely come back to this topic. But for today, Patricia, it has been fantastic to talk to you. I think it's one of these conversations that I like having because it really just goes to show that, there's industries and segments in markets where people automatically go, what? It's not like, here's a new phone. There's
Mhm.
more to the story. There's more behind this, and the psychological aspects are fascinating to understand. I've probably learned more on this. Actually, between yourself and the last probably 2 or 3 guests, the amount of stuff I've learned is nuts. So this has been a very educational experience for me. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. And actually, we're planning to start recording webinars and like a more extended video formats from September onwards, just to push in our educational part. Well, happy to share with you these webinars and information, and just in case you found it interesting.
We'll throw them onto any of the articles on the sites, and we'll make sure that there's a bit of attention coming back. So I think for today, I'm going to say good day, goodbye, good morning, good night. I suppose whenever you're listening to this, hope you've learned as much as I have today. And Patricia, I will be very excited to see where you are this time next year.
Thank you for the invitation.